Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday morning. Hope you all had a great weekend. Was a great weekend in Honolulu. It's down in Waikiki, and there are wall-to-wall tourists right now. That's the interesting thing with this is that um, predominantly the dominant player in the tourism industry in Hawaii is the Asian tourist. Um, we don't have that right now because Japan and stuff are in lockdown and there's no travel to Hawaii. But that mainland and that European or whatever tourists, it's just wall to wall tourists. It looks pre-pandemic, so it's interesting. That's kind of like an early indicator of how your airlines are going to go, things like that. Consumption, right? Airlines are a big consumption of oil and petrol. But it's just interesting. It's, tale of two cities, right? You look at a state like Hawaii, where I swear to God, Waikiki looked like it looked in January of 2020. Um, just without the Asian tourists. Imagine what's going to happen when that influx happens. There's a lot of jobs out there right now. But like I was saying, it's a tale of two cities. When you look at a place like Oregon, where the big news, of course, over the weekend was that government is looking to, that state government is looking to extend shutdowns and things like that. You've got a couple pockets in the country going like that. Hey, but yet you've got places like Hawaii that are just opening up. Now, the interesting conundrum, and I mentioned this because in Hawaii, we're getting about 100 new cases a day. Maybe 6 months ago, that would have set off all kinds of red flags and stuff. But we're also one of those states where we pretty much got about half the population with shots in their arms. You noticed it too in Waikiki. There were a lot of people that basically were walking around. I mean, of course, it's a resort town. So it's a lot of beach wear and things like that, but just kind of holding on to their mask or keep it in their pocket just so they could go in shops and restaurants. Other than that, it was just very, very, it wasn't a paranoia that you feel in a lot of 6 months ago, right? And our mayor, we have a new mayor from the last election, and he's just straight up said that we are not going backwards on this. We are reopening, and I think he's doing the right thing. We need to get, we've talked about it for months now, since December, right? We just need to get people vaccinated. You get that herd going on, even the anti-vaxxers at that point. You've got so many people vaccinated that it overcomes that. Think about through time, right? With inoculations and vaccinations, there's always been anti-vaxxers, but we were able to control chickenpox. We were able to control things like that, polio and the Black Plague. Anyway, so look, we kicked off a little bit of earnings this morning, guys. Coca-Cola reported great earnings, and they reported that they feel like they're back at pre-pandemic levels. That's an interesting thing, right? We were short Coca-Cola. We lost that trade. And we just felt like, with the social issues that Coca-Cola was getting involved in politics, the drive for healthiness in this country and across the globe, right? Obesity being a big problem, and then on top of it, the whole save the planet effort, right? Getting plastic, stopping plastic production and things like that, polluting the planet, polluting the oceans. In Hawaii, it's a big thing with the oceans, right? And the fisheries and stuff. And what happened was everybody just kind of ignored that, right? Because basically people were buying the product and supporting a company that basically is one of the top three producers of plastics, which is your top three planet killers, right? And also too, the product is based on the one thing that creates obesity better than anything else, right? Sugar and corn syrup and stuff. Anyways, and don't say the diet products, because we know those are all chemical laden and they're even worse than the sugar. But it's interesting how the public is, right? They're not going to give up their Coca-Cola for any reason. So we lost that trade, and we can live with that. You know what I mean? It was a good thesis behind the trade. It just didn't work out. Other than that, guys, look, tomorrow morning, earnings season kicks off big time. We got Netflix rolling, Schlumberger rolling and stuff, bunch of big earnings. Over 200 companies reporting this week, at least 60 of them on the S&P 500. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We're just coming off a week where we had a great unemployment reports, right? We'll see how those roll out at the end of the week if that continues. I know in Hawaii, you notice how I always go to what I see and what I can quantify. Labor, there's a demand for labor, so people should be going back to work, and we should be moving forward with that, and we'll see. These earnings reports will tell us a lot. Netflix, of course, we know through the pandemic has been strong because it's streaming. And that's been the go-to for people that are stuck at home. Well, so let's see how it comes out of this pandemic. But anyways, it's all about forward guidance right now. It'll be interesting to see how airlines report going forward. We had Delta last week, right? And it was a little bit of a train wreck on the earnings, but what they said about the coming quarters was good news. We're starting to see like your cruise lines like NCL and stuff are starting to fight to get ports open and stuff because they're ready to travel. So it's an interesting growth point for the economy right now, for the global economy. We still have some countries like India and stuff, which are big populations that are just really, really wrestling with this COVID and are still shut down. Of course, Japan included, right? But there's that light at the end of the tunnel. So we'll see. We'll see if that light's getting closer when we start getting these earnings reports. Other than that today, guys, we're just kind of laying back and we're just kind of watching things. The only really live trade we have right now is that Apple trade, which those options expire on Friday. So we'll just kind of play the market as we go. I don't see doing a lot of moves today, if anything, as we want to kind of see, it's the market's coming off a big week. We had a couple all-time highs on two markets. We saw the NASDAQ kind of beef up its chart, got a little bit more technically strong. But today futures are down a little bit, right? Almost flat, but down maybe 40, 50 points on the Dow, 10 on the S&P, I think, last time I looked. Other than that, we'll just kind of play and see how this market kind of shakes out today. There'll probably be a lethargic market because, like I said, there's a little fatigue from last week. And there's also one eye on the big launch of earnings tomorrow. So we'll just kind of play the market, see. We'll keep that Apple trade on the board. Apple's chart is very bullish right now. We like Apple. And we've got the energy play, but that's set up down into July and stuff. Oil, a little bit soft overnight, but it's kind of just, I think it just popped green a few minutes ago, a couple cents. So oil is doing fine. Gold had a big run last week, right? But it looks like it's kind of stuck at that 1775 for you gold bugs out there. Let me close with crypto. Crypto, right, had a really weird weekend. Big pullback off that all-time high for Bitcoin. And it kind of just, it was funny. On Saturday, I went to look at my crypto quotes on my phone, and everything across the board was red except for that doggy coin that Elon keeps texting about. And it's interesting, is that a pullback? Is it just the crypto market taking a breather before it races to another high? We know we've seen that quite often. Or is this what all these pundits keep talking about, the crypto winter? I mean, winter in July. Anyways, so it's interesting. We kind of entered the crypto market for the first time this weekend as traders. We opened up a Nexo account, and we some of the members that are into crypto, just kind of on the side, we got a little bit involved in the crypto market, and we're having fun with it. It's a potential asset. Look, you're seeing a lot of these. We talked about it before with crypto, right? You're seeing a lot of, especially countries, institutions, right? 2 years ago, they were anti-crypto. It was, God, don't put that in your portfolio and this and that. Now, all of a sudden, you see China turning around on it, right? And now they're going to do a national currency. We know India is trying to do a national currency, but the acceptability as a strong asset in any portfolio, right? It's becoming that. So it's getting a little more mainstream too, right? These people you can basically open a Robinhood and trade crypto. So it's interesting. We'll see how things kind of shake out this morning, guys and girls. We'll see. We're coming off the weekend. We're coming off a week where we made a couple new highs. There wasn't a lot of excitement in the market, financial news wise, this morning. Besides the Coke report, Peloton has having a little trouble. For you guys out there that might own Peloton, we don't own Peloton, but I guess a child got hurt on one of the Pelotons, so a federal agency came out and told people don't buy it or use that equipment, and so there's a kind of a battle going back and forth between Peloton. It's an interesting story, guys. And like I said, other than that, let's see how the market opens. It's about 10 minutes before the market when I'm recording this, so I'll post this up on the old YouTube in the Investing Lab. Don't forget, tomorrow, stock of the week. We'll be doing a stock of the week tomorrow. Other than that, we'll probably have a little bit more exciting of a market update tomorrow with some of those earnings coming out. And we'll see how it affects the market. All right. Tesla, close with Tesla. Tesla had a rough weekend, right? And it's down a little bit in pre-market. Last time I checked, it was down about $25 in pre-market, but it's over that 700 level, which seems to be a key psychological level for Tesla. But I guess they had an accident and nobody was driving the car. 2 people died. And so something's going on with Tesla. We've talked about Tesla before. We like Ford. We bought Ford in that 1250 range. And then the reason we did is we feel like Tesla's kind of getting a little long in tooth, in the sense that it used to have these big head starts on all these other automakers, right? Other automakers weren't really into the EV vehicles, the battery supplies, right? The power supplies, things like that. There was a lot of stuff, but you're starting to see a lot of these domestic companies, these domestic auto producers starting to get on board. Volvo, right? Changed their name to Volt, not Vote, Volt, VOLT. Just interesting, right? GM's just been rolling out some beautiful prototypes and stuff, and we think Ford's right behind on that. And here's the thing: once the technology side catches up with Elon and Tesla, these guys already have plants. These guys are already prepared for mass production. These guys already have engineers, massive amounts of engineers. These guys already know how to get a product to market quickly and efficiently. At some point, that's going to take over that advanced technology side of the trade. So be careful with that. Look, if Tesla's down, you can probably count on Kathy Wood coming in and buying another 200 million or something. Anyways, guys, we just think there's better options in that EV market right now. Tesla's too extended at 700. All right, guys. So let's see how we shake out. We're about 3 minutes now from the market open. We'll see how we shake out. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow morning with another market update. Today, we're just kind of watchers in the market, seeing how that Apple trade goes. And we're already set up for the energy and the Ford play going forward, about a month and a half out. Okay. All right, guys. Happy Monday.